The king of monsters is back, baby. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Not only do we have one film that Toho Studios, the OG studio of Godzilla, releasing Godzilla Minus One stateside, which I had the opportunity to see a little bit early, and by goodness, go see that movie, y'all. Go see it. People who have seen it are loving it. It's getting great reviews. It's quite possibly the best Godzilla movie since. I like Shin Godzilla, but you know the original 1954 film is just always held in such this gold standard, and this one I think touches that one thematically, and I think it approaches the relevance that the original film had and grandeur that the original film had. And then we have the brothers Warners over here, okay, producing this madness. So, as Godzilla fans, man, we have a lot to be grateful for. And I was originally going to make a Spider-Man video. I'm still going to do it, but I was like, yo, my boy, the Big G, is getting a lot of shine. He's trending. So you know what? We're going to draw Godzilla today. But first, I want to get a little into Godzilla's history and just explain who Godzilla is for you guys uninitiated, and also getting a little bit into how Godzilla has influenced pop culture. And kind of, if you haven't seen a Godzilla movie, I'm sure you have seen Godzilla reference in something. He's been all over the place. Every writer or anybody worth their salt, animator, artist who likes genre or fantasy has paid homage to Godzilla at some point in their career. So anyway, we're gonna get into that. Let's cue that intro, buddy.
The time has come to awaken him. I call upon the ancient lords of the underworld to bring forth this beast and awaken, take the land that must be taken. Awaken, devour worlds, might forsaken.
Now, the Showa era began in 1954 with the original Godzilla movie. Now, the original Godzilla movie is a must-watch for anybody interested in classic film, and also if you want to see a really introspective, thoughtful, and actually for the time, and I would say sometimes now, pretty terrifying monster flick. Check out the original Godzilla. The movie, of course, was a big success, so a sequel was ordered right away. Godzilla Raids Again. This one not so much, but it introduced the idea of Godzilla fighting another monster, right? So then we get to the third film, Godzilla vs. Kong, and then that cemented that formula. And moving forward, Godzilla went from being a commentary on nuclear destruction and its damages to humanity and us as a whole, right? And morphed into more of like World Wrestling Federation for monsters. Now, that's not a bad thing because I love these movies growing up. They used to come on in the afternoons, after Saturday morning cartoons, and so I got to watch a bunch of them. And sure, I was scratching my head a few times, but they were really fun. And Godzilla was really fun, and I think this is what endeared like generations to Godzilla, this era in particular. So yes, that's the Showa era. And it was great, but it ended in 1975 due to like, I mean, you come on, like at some point this had to stop. So that leads us into the next era. So the Heisei era does what any good reboot does. It brings the character back in a dark, gritty, like, you know, yeah, we're back to being to our roots, you know. And that's what it does. Godzilla Returns, it's called Godzilla 1985 over here in the States. And it brought Godzilla back to his roots. It disregarded everything that happened other than the original 1954 film. So this is essentially a sequel to that movie, and it brings Godzilla back, and this is a meaner, bigger Godzilla, and he means business. In the first film, he's back to being a bad guy, but the influence of the Showa era is just too great. So they eventually got back to basics, except Godzilla wasn't so goofy in this version. He still maintained his grit, his edge, and the movies were great. You know, I love the Heisei era. That's generally, these are the movies, when I was watching these as a kid, the Heisei movies were, I couldn't distinguish like the different eras, so they were all Godzilla to me. So when I would see the Heisei ones, I'm like, wow, these are the good ones. Like, I mean, for me as a kid, because like, you know, the special effects were a little bit better. They were darker. There was a lot of action. There were guns and like space suits and like all types of crazy stuff happening during the Heisei era. Really cool. Moving on to Millennium era. Now, this is where I first really became cognizant that there was like a cultural difference. Like Godzilla was from Japan. Like he was just a Japanese creation. In 1998, we were gifted by an American produced Godzilla film by TriStar Films. Now, we all know about this Godzilla. He's considered Zilla by the Japanese. They don't consider it was a joke of a film. It was riding off the coattails of Jurassic Park. I saw it in the theaters as a kid, and it was a disaster film. Roland Emmerich directed this thing, by the way. So it was like a disaster film, like spliced with some elements from Jurassic Park. They shamelessly shoehorned in like raptors. Come on. Anyway, saw that, and then Godzilla 2000 was released here in the States. Godzilla! And I was like, oh, that's Godzilla. That's Godzilla. And I was so confused. I was like, whoa. I guess the real Godzilla is in Japan, because I know you just don't pick up on it as a kid. This is the beginning of the Millennium era of Godzilla films, and they are characterized by it kind of like, you know how like 1985 Godzilla was like a reboot like of Godzilla, like starting over and like kind of refreshing. They did that like several times during the Millennium era. Each film was kind of like its standalone thing, and it was trying new things with Godzilla. And some may consider this a low point in Godzilla's history, and for a while I guess it was. So Godzilla went silent for a while until the current era we reside in, and that's the Reiwa era. And that was launched with Shin Godzilla. And Shin Godzilla is nightmare fuel. If you've never seen Shin Godzilla, check it out. It is crazy. It's uncomfortable. It's in my top 3 Godzilla films for sure. But it is very like, wow. And it touches on various issues concerning the Japanese, and like it's really hardcore. It's actually directed by the guy who created Evangelion. So like it's dope. It's dope. So the Reiwa era gives us that, and then also like some different multimedia things within Godzilla's universe, like an anime and a CGI, I think trilogy of films on Netflix, like Planet Godzilla. Like Godzilla's like actually the planet, and like heard bad things about that, so I didn't check it out. I didn't want to waste time, but that's the current era we're in, and then we just got Godzilla -1, which is a part of the Reiwa era as well. And wow, we're here. And then of course, on the other side, we have the Brothers Warners, and they're creating their own MonsterVerse, which we can touch on that later. But there you go, Godzilla's like, history. And so I also wanted to touch on the fact that Godzilla is just, even in the 90s, man, Godzilla was referenced so much. We all remember Raptor from Rugrats. Anytime Power Rangers with Tommy Oliver, when he was summoning the Dragon Zord, You know, it came out the water and it did the Godzilla thing. I mean, let's see what else. They referenced Godzilla in the Lost World. You know, I know you guys remember that scene. So like, I mean, it's Godzilla's cool, man. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, man, I'm about to draw Godzilla, man. Follow along. It's gonna be cool. I'm just gonna draw his head. You know, 'cause I didn't have any really cool ideas, but I think I'm gonna do like a really long form illustration of Godzilla pretty soon, because I'm like in a Godzilla mood. So anyway, stay tuned for the drawing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you if you made it this far into the video. Thank you so much for sticking around. So now we're gonna draw Godzilla. So I'm starting off with a circle, like the best way. That's my favorite way to start a drawing. It gives you something to work with. It gives you a form, a shape to mold, almost like clay. And one of the important things you have to remember about Godzilla is he's a monster. Like, he's not a giant dinosaur, he is a monster. And that's why you have to always remember to put in his monster ears. You see, I'm gonna put those in right there. But yeah, thank you if you made it this far into the video. This is my longest video yet. I put a lot of work into it, and it was fun. It was really fun, and I want to continue to make more content like this and expand and get better with presenting it to you guys. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and as much as I enjoyed making it, and you learned something about Godzilla, and maybe, you know, the facts I showed you and the clips I showed, and you know, everything I said about Godzilla has persuaded you to check the big guy out, because it is a really interesting series. It's just like Batman. It has some really goofy stuff within the canon, and also has some really serious, heavy stuff that you can dive into. So Godzilla is fun for everyone, you know. And I'm serious about -1. That movie is worth checking out, like, right away, as soon as you get the chance. It's in theaters all over the country now, and it's doing big numbers. I think it was made with a $15 million budget, and it's already made its budget back in some. It's made like 30 mil already. So Godzilla's back in a big way, and like I mentioned before, Warner Brothers is cooking up their MonsterVerse. They just dropped the trailer for Godzilla X Kong: A New Empire. So yeah, man, I had to jump on and make this video like right away, because I'm a really big Godzilla fan. Actually, I've been cooking up an idea of a comic book that deals with like giant monsters and like Super Sentai and stuff like that. Want to do like a send up on that, so that's a possible thing you might see popping up here sooner or later. But once again, thank you for hanging in here and learning about Godzilla with me. The Spider-Man video is coming up probably next. I'm gonna do a Spider-Man like, you know, history of Spider-Man and like my history with them and all that good stuff, and I'll draw them and blah blah blah. But yeah, look, Godzilla's coming along here. So right here I'm gonna do some like more intense line work, or like finer line work, to give it some form and shape. But yeah, this is my Godzilla. You know, he looks like a monster. He looks like a monster. This is how he's supposed to look. But yeah, just like Batman, once again, Godzilla has a lot of different incarnations. So I'm kind of going for like a mixture of like OG Godzilla and some of 85, you know, Godzilla, the Heisei Godzilla. Hope you guys pay attention so you know what your eras I'm talking about. So yeah, we're talking like Showa, a mixture of Showa and Heisei. That's what I'm kind of going for here. And as you know, like recently Godzilla's been like lifting weights. He's been getting kind of stacked. He's a beast. You know, kind of resembles like a giant alligator a lot of the time. Well, in the Warner Brothers movies, he looks like a giant alligator. It's not like my favorite look for him. But anywho, I'm gonna let this thing speed up. And you know, you'll see the end product. And check me out in my next video. Like, subscribe, hit the noti bell. You know, and so you can be notified of when I drop a new video, which is going to be way more frequent now, because I'm just amped. I think I have some atomic energy in me now. Okay, I'm all out of atomic energy. All right, guys, later. See you in the next video. Just Blaze out.